Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday in the UK. Beautiful day, and good to have our regulars join us. And as we do every week, we try and take a little bit of a snapshot of where we are. We begin to um, identify the kind of changes that we may be going through or we anticipated, and then sort of come to our conclusion through a meditation and getting to this state of self. So many of us are now becoming aware of the unhinging of some of the narrative that's been going around that was so tight before. Um, and as more corruption becomes visible, as in Australia, how politicians and pharmaceuticals and the whole enforcement policies, how they are all linked. This creates um, uh, this has created a blanket approach in which every country, to some degree, was impacted quite significantly 18, 20 months ago. But now, as we approach November, to find that the narrative is starting to crumble some. Countries like some of the European countries are now stopping the use of. The world seems to be waking up through some of it anyway. Now, as this unhinging takes place, and those who have been following the unhinging behind the scenes, like, for example, the situation with containers being downloaded onto ports, the fact that shipping ports have been uh, shut down, the refusal of some of the transport individuals to comply, which has created yet more issues. So the supply chain is starting to become affected as we anticipated many months ago. And now it's time for us to say, okay, how do we prepare for it? Well, there is nothing stronger than common humanity, that collective sense of space, the collective sense of self. There's nothing stronger than that. And therefore, it is important to realize that in these days of isolation and in these days of uh, decreasing social interaction, that we take it upon ourselves, our own responsibility, to discover and find and connect with those that we know are aware of the possible changes, and we take action. So collective, communal, productive, constructive uh, actions which benefit the whole. And as soon as we begin to recognize that life doesn't have to be so difficult, life does not have to be difficult. It's our attitude and approach to life and what we endure and tolerate, the abuse we endure and tolerate determine the quality of life we have. So, just like anyone who has experienced something like domestic violence and bullying and coercion and isolation and, all of that to protect in the interest of protecting the other, um, is you can be used to coerce and to bully and to enable an individual to lose their own sense of self and to comply. And that's what's being done to us. Whether we accept it or not, it's immaterial. But that's what's being done to us, as time will demonstrate as we move forward. That this enforcer who's been at an individual level in a relationship where they've experienced physical and emotional abuse, And that's all that's being used against the population in order for them to come. But as we said before, and we say it again, that which is untested, unknown, irrespective of who stands behind it, irrespective of the science, one has to also recognize that the human system is a phenomenal system. It was here before all of this medical intervention, and it will be here after it. So it has its own inbuilt immune systems of varying degrees. And when it comes across any kind of threat, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's mental, whether it's psychological, whenever it comes across a threat, it reacts in certain ways, and those certain ways are built in order to protect. And the immune system, a phenomenal system. So invest your time, choose wisely, invest your time in building that immune system, because as this super cold and super that just seems to have just erupted after a whole year of no flu, phenomenal that was, to protect yourself against pathogens, because our isolation, our mask wearing, our constant obsession with sanitization, all of these things, although in small measures are valuable, in the obsessive state they actually become quite detrimental to the immune system. So it's important to choose wisely. If it doesn't feel right, it ain't right. That's the golden rule. Now, one thing that I'd like to focus on is there something that any wisdom tradition offers that can say, you know what, how can I, what can I, through my own experience, apply which enables me to find trust, safety, and comfort? Is there a wisdom tradition in the world that can offer that? And I would suggest there is. And I would suggest that Gurmat offers that. And how does it offer that? It offers that from you, for you to discern for yourself through a few questions. And the first question is, and you and I would have to say, yes, we do. Then the second question is, by what ticket, by what order, by what merit, by what compensation, by what price did you achieve this birth that you call your human birth? What was the price? What was the ticket price for you to be given this opportunity to be here, to be having this conversation, listening to it? What? What determined that? Is that chance? Is that random, born in a particular family, in a particular place, in a particular community, with particular siblings, particular parents, particular friends, which all you either have innate connections with or not? What determines that? What determines you to be looked after? And I call that your at the moment of conception, throughout the pregnancy. What keeps you alive and ticking? What mechanisms? Where do these mechanisms come from? Where does this intelligence come from? How is it that this process is a process that is continuous? How is it that this process is self perpetuating? And then we ask ourselves the question that in this life that we call human being, in the moment of now, with the people around us, with the understanding we have been graced with. What choices did we have make through awareness which determined where you are today, the wisdom that you have today? And you will notice that most of these are through happenstance. They are the happening. They are the happening of the present moment of now. And if we begin to truly become present to the moment of now, we will recognize two fundamental things. That the self, the essential self, is unchanging and unmoving. It's important to realize that. Unchanging and therefore unmoving. Unmoving. The breath and everything around you, that's the other element, is constantly moving, constantly changing, constantly going through this process of start, middle, end. Through this recognition of this unfolding, unfolding divine imperative, and I use the word divine because the qualities of it are the qualities of balance, which is justice, the quality of beauty. Have you seen the beauty that's around you with as summer goes into autumn and winter? This process, this change, this shift, this happening, you and I are all in it, part of it, and we too are the happening. The realization of the hukam, the realization of this allows our ego self to begin to dissolve, for us to be able to let go of this sense of self, of this sense of self, to let go of that such that we can truly immerse ourselves knowingly through the realization and the knowing of our eternal space that is unchanging, unmoving awareness, and all that around you is the ocean within which you and I have been graced, have been graced to experience in this moment of transition. And this moment of transition is exactly this cosmic ocean wants to go. It has nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with the politicians. It's got nothing to do with the ones that are behind them. It is a cosmic shift, a change. Just like you and I, the entire universe follows similar cyclic patterns. And through the patterns, as we've seen, summer changing to autumn and how the leaves change, we too are now moving into that changing space. And that changing space, the ego is desperate to hold on to, which is what gives it the uncertainty, realizing by looking, by hearing, by seeing, by feeling, not just by believing, but by through the realization of this moment of now and the unfolding hukam, we all begin to experience that trust which emerges. It is not that you trust something or someone, it's an emergence of that trustingness, is perhaps another word, the certainty of the unchanging moment of now within which you, I, and every consciousness that there is embedded in, because consciousness in its entirety is the unchanging whole called Akal Purusha. The bottom line is energetic shifts are here, going through many, many changes. There are many things that are in front of us, but there are many things behind which are becoming more and more visible. November is likely to see the corporate structure starting to get unhinged, the banking system starting fraud, and with that, changes begin to happen that begin in one part of the world and then just kind of snowball around us. And it's a spiral of change and turbulence. But within all of that, remember that all of this is moving exactly as it needs to move. Do not concern yourself with the restrictive spaces that the ones, the enforcers are trying to put together. All this is changing as the transformation is taking place before your very eyes. So we are not around us, but rather to immerse ourselves in the bigger picture in the place of now, but not to be complacent either. So look after yourself, develop and strengthen your immunity. Clove tea is good if you have a sore throat. It's good to chew a clove. Important to the if you get any kind of nasal stuff and the caution. This isn't medical advice by any way. This is just simply saying things that have helped others that may be of value to you. But please do investigate for yourself, and make sure you take the cofactors with it. Vitamin K, etc. Okay, so let us begin with our meditation. And again, we want to go into the experience of the meditation, and in that experience, that is our proof of what reality is. Because relax your shoulders. What does that mean? And let's make sure that we understand what we mean. So, all around you is your version of reality at the moment, as everyone else will. So, reality will be sitting in front of your phone or computer or listening to this. Reality will be being whichever environment you're in. That's your reality, your external reality. You can see things, you can feel things, you can hear things. Okay. So the awareness allows us to do this. Yeah. So just make sure you experience that, the fact that your reality, my reality at this moment is external. As you breathe in, and as you do that, you will notice that the external reality that we are now aware of is the body itself. So just is the body itself. So just sense the body. Those sensations, the reason you can sense the body is because the sensations are there. If there were no sensations, there would be no sensing the body. So just take a moment to sense the body from the top all the way down to your feet. And then if you move your focus now towards your thoughts, see if you can notice the kind of thoughts you're having or have been having. Notice as soon as you do this, the reality becomes our mental content. Move your focus now towards your chest. Notice the movement of the chest with the breath. Notice there are notice there are sensations, the movement of your chest. And these sensations may be very subtle. See if you can notice them within yourself. Predictive of the changing nature as the breath comes in, as the breath goes out. And you may be even able to notice that those changes change themselves. Those sensations change themselves. The way they end is necessarily the way they begin. The sensation itself is changing. The sensation itself is changing. Now moving your focus a bit deeper into yourself, imagine your very chest, your very center of your chest. Imagine you can take, as you can, your awareness to that point. As you can, your awareness to that point. So you're not imagining that point, you're taking your awareness to that point as best as you can. Now see if you can notice how you're feeling. Your current moment now feel. Feel settled or do you feel unsettled? Is this moment anxious, fearful, unpleasant? How do you feel right now? Your focus now to the chair or the yourself to be supported. So you can afford to let go a little bit. Now let's begin to notice where we are ourselves. So notice that which is beneath you, whether it's the ground, the chair, or the chair supported by the ground. Become aware of that. Notice that you are held in this moment, in this space. Bring your focus to how the temperature feels. Do you feel comfortable within yourself? Do you feel cold or do you feel warm? And that's as a reason for the environment. So recognize that the environment around you, the comfort around you, can only be experienced because it's there. Bring your focus to your breath now. And as you breathe in, realizing that the breath you're taking can only be taken from the air that's in front of you. And the breath that you breathe out, and the breath that you breathe out can only be breathed out in the air in front of you. Just as this breath becomes the next breath, becoming the next breath, becoming the next breath. Every moment, every breath connects you to the previous breath and the previous moment. So this moment connects you to all the moments that ever have been. And this moment connects you to all the moments that ever will be. Becoming aware of this moment. Getting real. Bring your focus now. Bring your focus now to the chair or the seat you're on. Notice the sensations within your body. Allowing your awareness now to move up your hips. And as you breathe out, move this awareness down your thighs. Using our awareness as a scanner to scan for any sensations that may be dominant. But as you scan your thighs towards your knees, becoming aware of the sense of your thighs. And then slowly moving this awareness down towards your ankles, coming to your feet, and as best as you can, coming to the soles of your feet. Moving back to your chair, your seat. Notice how still your body feels. Notice your back. Straight, relaxed. And as you breathe in, allow this awareness to move upwards from your lower back to your middle back, up towards your shoulder blades, and then up towards your shoulders. From your shoulders, you move your focus down to your elbows, move towards your wrists, gently, as best as you can, becoming aware of the palms of your hands. And then moving your focus to your fingers, simply becoming acquainted with the body in this moment of now. Moving your focus now to your eyes. Notice the darkness. There is awareness of darkness. That awareness is what you are. Of darkness. That awareness is what you are, what I am. And as you breathe out, allow this part of the body to soften. Moving your focus to your mouth, and in particular your tongue. Allow your tongue to soften. Notice the sensations on the roof of your mouth, inside your cheeks, and then on your breath out, allow your face to soften and relax. And as the breath comes in, becoming aware of yourself once more. Notice how the body feels in this moment now. On your awareness to all the sounds around you. Awareness to all the sounds around you. Gently bringing your focus just beneath your nose. Begin to watch your breath, moving in, moving out. Notice that your in breath has a start, a middle, and an end, as does your out. See if you can notice that. Stay with your breath. Stay with your breath. Notice that the breath breathes by itself. Allow your breath to breathe by itself, letting go of any need to control your breathing. Notice the rhythm. Notice the rhythm. Start, middle, end, start, middle, end. And this start, middle, end is the nature of the ocean that we all live within. Within. The ocean of change. Start, middle, end, start, middle, end. And just moves in and out. The same rhythm is with your heart. Stay with your breath. As you follow your out breath all the way till the end, you will notice that it stops and there's a gap before the in breath begins. There's a gap before the in breath begins. Breath all the way till the end. All the way till the end. And as you do that, allowing your body to relax, to soften, to become present, alert, alert as you follow your out breath all the way till the end, becoming aware of that little gap before the in breath begins. Stay with your breath. Bring your focus now to the sound of your breath. And once again, you will notice that even the sound of your breath follows the same pattern. And because the sound exists, you can hear it. Sound exists, you can hear it. The sound is changing, but the one who's listening, the observer, is unchanging. Notice as the breath is changing, the observer of the breath remains unchanging. And if you expand your awareness to include your whole body, you will notice that everything within the body, every cell, every heart, everything is moving. The blood is moving, the heart is moving, breath is moving. Yet you, the observer, aware and aware of the process taking place, such as the breath, becoming aware of the phenomenon of our happening. On your next breath out, begin to listen to the sounds around you, allowing our awareness to move further than the body, to become aware of all that's around you. And again, using the sound of our bell to listen and to merge with the silence at the end. Notice the timeless nature of this moment. Notice the absence of fear, the absence of anger, the presence of peace or calmness. Notice how one moment moves into the next, yet you remain unmoving. Solid, whole, complete, unchanging. Gently bringing your focus just beneath your nose and just sitting with your breath. The impermanence, the impermanence of the breath. Noticing the changing nature of this moment. Notice how the reality has now shifted from when you began, and how that shift in reality shifts our emotions, how we feel, and our sense of self. Gently allow your awareness to become aware of your body again. Notice that you're still in the same posture you began. Grounded in the same place you began, on the same chair or the floor. Able to sense your thighs all the way down to your ankles, feet, feet, and the soles of your feet. Feet and the soles of your feet. And the soles of your feet. May even wish to wriggle your toes somewhat. Back is still straight, hands, arms, shoulders are relaxed. Eyes are still closed, mouth is still closed, and your face is relaxed. Coming back to your breath. Breathing in, you can sense your body. Breathing in, you can sense your body. Breathing out, you can sense your body. Notice the peace, the calmness, or the still or the silence. Know that this is your essential self, unchanging, untouched, unchanging, untouched. Awareness. When you hear the bell, use this bell to draw a few deep breaths in, and in your own good time, gently opening your eyes.